Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get into the final match of the day. It is going to be Chiefs taking on Pentanet, who both have looked like extremely strong rosters so far. Pentanet currently undefeated. Let's see if Chiefs can maybe change that.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, isn't it? I feel like Chiefs are a team that could potentially cause an upset here. They like to draft some interesting compositions. We've been reasonably impressed with Mboma on the Heimerdinger and how that kind of forces teams to play a different brand of League of Legends. But we'll have to see how they go today. I mean, look, if there is any team that's going to beat Pentanet, I did get the feeling that it was going to be Peace or Chiefs, probably, based on what we've seen so far. So today's going to be a good test for Pentanet, a team that, you know, even of a scare yesterday against Legacy. I wouldn't say they're looking susceptible, but they are maybe looking a little bit more susceptible than what they were in the first week.
I think, of course, going up against Chiefs, we are going to see them take it a whole lot more seriously because Chiefs are dangerous. You know that they know exactly what they're doing. They've got a decent amount of experience on the roster, you know, in a couple of the roles there, and they've managed to convert that into a couple of wins, and they're looking for another one today against Pentanet. I am not going to be surprised if we do see that Heimerdinger coming out from Mboma because it has looked so good. It's just stopped all the aggression that's been thrown at him, you know. Had a bit of an explanation from Jubes yesterday on why Heimerdinger is so good at that end, or I guess the counter engage, and how it stops the dive, back line diving coming out from the opponents.
Well, you can dive, but you just have to execute it properly, right? In the sense that, you know, if you ever go too deep, or if you ever go too far in, there's no coming out. But, you know, although we do harp on about Mboma's Heimerdinger, I do want to touch on the fact that he's actually a good AD carry. And we haven't seen him play traditional AD carry. And, you know, I am a man that does like standard gameplay sometimes. And I'm kind of excited to see Mboma and Draku just rip out that traditional 2v2 hard engage support and just play heavily around their bot side, because what they've done at the moment is play away from it. I want them to play to it, and I think that's definitely a way in which you can beat Pentanet.
Well, speaking of Pentanet, let's have a quick discussion on what they're going to bring to the table. You know, we've got the 5 handsome blokes on your screen right now who have all played perfectly so far. Well, so good.
I mean, they are... Sorry. They are a bit of a handsome bunch. That's all I was going to add if you want to take this one away off.
Sure. I mean, look, it takes one to know one, Juve, so that's fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that the Pentanet roster has played well across the board. I don't think that you can very easily go and say, okay, this player has underperformed drastically in any of these games. For me, I think the standout in all 3 of the games that I've seen from them so far has been Pabu. I don't think he's had a bad performance or a rough performance, and even when he has, in some senses, looked like he's gotten behind, he's been able to come back and really have a dominant game, especially this one here with the Shyvana. I think it was like like you can see, he's 1-2-2, but he ends up with something like 7 kills, and I think he only ended up having the 2 deaths. So had a very, very nice game there as well. Seems to constantly be able to get his laners ahead and get himself ahead as well, and it just seems to really snowball the lead there from Pentanet and just make life look pretty easy for them as a general rule. Obviously, mentioning yesterday against Legacy did look like a bit of a tougher start for Pentanet, but I thought that they really showed some class, and the way that they were able to come back into this game sort of made you think, okay, well, this is a bit of a champion team in a way that if they do struggle, they're still going to be able to come through and get a win regardless of the odds, whereas maybe a weaker team, a lesser team, wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I think he was leading in terms of the kill participation as well, over towards the 85% kill participation mark on average as well, which is pretty crazy to know that he's certainly setting up a lot of those engagements, or at least participating in a lot of the ganks.
Yeah, and Jarvan, I will mention he has played Jarvan. Jarvan is a bit of a stat patter, because if you do drop the E and you win a team fight, you get 5 assists. Yeah. Right? It's just an aura that gets you 5 assists. So, but nah, Pabu... Well, I mean, that's why you played Jarvan support.
Yeah, I mean, is this like a shot? Is this like some sort of dig?
No, not a dig at all. I mean, well, actually, your KDA wasn't the best, but we'll move past that.
Oof. It was pretty good.
It was something like almost 30 assists, I think, over there. Anyway, we don't want to hear about the supports. We want to have a quick chat about junglers, assists, which I know Jubes is going to be very, very happy about. We're going to have a look at Swaith going up against Pabu. Head-to-head, they have had some pretty good results so far. And, oh my lord, look at the average damage to objectives. Swathe is way out in front in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, probably because of the fact that, you know, Swathe and the Chiefs in general have had more of those opportunities to secure those dragons. You think back to the Legacy game, They did lose the soul, so makes a lot more sense that, you know, Swathe has the damage to those objectives. But one thing I want to consider is the fact that Swathe gets a lot more gold on his team than Pabu does in that sense. And then also consider that Pabu does a lot more damage. But, you know, Pabu did have that game on Shyvana yesterday where he was able to top damage. I think he literally beat everyone in the damage charts. Obviously, you know, got to scale on that Shyvana, got the Dark Harvest stacks, also got to full build. But nevertheless, two kind of polarizing playstyles. If you look at the favorite champions as well, right? Set and Trundle of Pabu likes to play that around his team, likes to be, you know, doesn't like the resources necessarily, right? He's very happy to give them away. Whereas Swathe, you look at the Evelyn, the Kayn, Viego, give me all the gold, give me all the resources, I'll put you on my back and I'll carry. And I think these are two kind of opposite playstyles, but Pabu can do both. He just opts in for the less of the resources.
Well, someone that is very good at doing interviews is Nats T, and we're going to bring her back as well. She's down on the sidelines with two handsome individuals. Nat, who do you have for us for the pre-game here and the final pre-game tonight?
I have Chiefs Mboma and Pentanet's Pradith. Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Mboma, how's the team feeling down there? You know, you guys hyped, pumped, even though it's the last game of the day?
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good. I think energy levels are really high, and we're pretty excited to verse Pentanet today.
Awesome. And Pradith, first time, first time talking to you on the stream. How are you, and how's the vibe down over at Pentanet?
Yeah, we're chilling out. I think this game should be pretty easy for us. I'm not really worried about it. I don't think anyone's really worried. I think it should be pretty clean.
Okay, so that's a pretty unanimous team feeling that you're all like, get in, get out, get the win.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Mboma, when I was talking to Draggy yesterday, he said that he didn't really mind so much about the winning or the losing. It's more about like what you guys are going to learn from it. Is that something that's, you know, a viewpoint that's across the team, or are there a few of you that are like, no, we need this win?
I really like winning, so I want to win, obviously. But I think the mentality that we play with is that we want to improve, and I think stage games are a lot better places to improve than scrims. I think in scrims, there's not as much pressure on you to play well. If you're Pentanet, you can pause or FF the game if you want. And I think on stage, there's a lot of lessons that you can take out of it. So it's... yeah, I think we learn a lot more from playing like actual games as opposed to scrims. Like we can take more concepts out of it because the pressure's high, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely it does make sense. And I mean, Pentanet's probably one of the tougher competition that you guys are coming up against. Has there been a lot of focus into preparing for these guys?
I'll be honest, yeah, definitely. I think they're probably our toughest opponents that we're going to play this week, and I think that they're probably one of the tougher opponents in the league with Peace, so I think that we definitely didn't come into this game not prepared. We're prepared to face them, and I'm looking forward to having a good match tonight.
Awesome. Now, Pradith, I know you just said before that you guys aren't too worried. What is the prep that you guys do then? Because you do seem to be this unstoppable powerhouse. So, like, how are you guys preparing? And
Not gonna lie, the bot preparation was kind of easy. I think if the AD carry plays any champ that requires any sort of skill, that I mean, knowing their players, they'll probably just drop the lobby. But I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, I'm very confident in bot 2v2. I think we outclass them everywhere as well. So for me, I woke up, I was just like, it's just another day. Like, I may as well just queue for solo queue. I think if their jungler is not like carrying, which he probably can't against my jungler, because I think my jungler is just better, then they're kind of just awful. So yeah, it should be pretty brainless bot lane 2v2. Should be pretty easy.
okay. Alrighty. Interesting. You know, it's good to know that you're just not too focused on bot and you're more concerned about the jungle. But is there anything else you guys would like to say to each other before we go? And Boma, you can start if you'd like.
Yeah, I think bot will be definitely very interesting to see what happens today, bot in draft and whatever. You know, I like when teams underestimate us. I like coming in as the underdogs, so I think we're just gonna play the game and perform and not get too much into egoing our opponents like other people try and do, which is fine. We're just playing to win and improve. So going into this game, I hope that everyone on my team, plays well and we don't have too many problems with nerves or anything. So yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. And Pradith, anything else from you before we head off?
I guess just remember that when we win today and we play in a few weeks, that you guys can't cancel that game, like you do in practice. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna have to verse us again. So good luck, man.
Good luck.
Alrighty. Good luck to both of you. I'm very excited for this matchup. It seems like it'll be a bit of an interesting one. But Mac, let's head on over to you.
So, bit of a spicy interview, that one.
It
Chiefs
was.
taking the high road, and Pradith just saying, mate, you can't cancel it against us. It's the real deal now. We have to play our
Pradith-
whole game.
Pradith is just going for the facts. There's no cancelling out here. You've got to face him one way or another.
Pradith maybe had to sit on his emotions a little bit too long and didn't get to say what he really thought, and this was the one outlet that he got. So I hope Pradith is okay. And
I hope they don't lose after that.
Well,
look.
that's the thing, right? Like, as a player, it's good to be confident, but sometimes you just want to have a little bit of something to fall back on. And when the way that Pradith just went that hard in the paint, there's absolutely nothing to fall back on, right? The only thing you're falling on is some rocks, like at the end of the day, if you fall.
Well, look, we have to put our money where our mouths are as well, and we only have one thing to fall back on, and that's our prediction. So let's see which way we've all lent, and it looks like almost all of us have gone for Pentanet. Everyone here has. I'm pretty sure everyone in total might have gone for Pentanet. But now after that interview, I'm liking the humble approach Chiefs are bringing in. I almost want to swap it because Chiefs feel like they might be underestimated.
Yeah, I kind of vibe with that as well. It's almost like the unseen threat is the deadliest. And so if you're not being a bit of a showboat, you're not really putting yourself out there. You're just working on your own game, making sure that you're doing what you need to do. And you're not really focusing on everything else outside of the game. Sometimes that can sort of catch up with the guys that are going a bit over the top. And I mean, not to say that Pentanet are necessarily going over the top or anything like that. They are the #1 team at the moment. They deserve to be able to trash talk like that. But eventually it's going to come back to bite you, and I almost want to see it be this game, just for the sake of the storyline.
Well, look,
it would be a pretty epic storyline.
Sorry, Jubes, we've got to speed things up because it's almost time for Champ Select, and unfortunately it's not Talent Select, so Nat, you're cut. You're out. You're back to the sidelines. We'll see you after the game.
I understand. I'll see you guys later.
All right, goodbye. Toodle-oo. And hopefully we can check back in with her later. I think she's actually going to go try out the esports assessment labs and see how good a reaction time is, because she was pretty hot on the trot there when I threw a bit of fire her way. Anyway, going towards Champ Select, do you think we're going to see any ringers, anything coming in from outer left field?
Well, I mean, there's always the possibility that we're going to get the Heimerdinger, the Ring-a-Dinger coming through. You love that one, Mac. So, I mean, Chiefs have been drafting it a fair bit, so it's always in the back of your mind. Obviously, Jubes, like you said, you probably prefer a little bit more of the standard gameplay. I'm the kind of person that prefers that as well. I do feel like you tend to lack something sometimes when you don't have a standard attack damage carry, but Chiefs have made it work in one game. They haven't made it work in one game. I think compositionally it can work depending on what Pentanet are going to bring. But I do just wonder if Pentanet's going to be a bit too good of a team to get caught off by that kind of curveball, if that makes sense.
Well, you don't have to wonder any longer, because it's time for you guys to jump into Champ Select. Jubes and Elf Boy take us into the final match of the night.
All right. Thank you very much, Mac Dad. And we'll get to see what we will get to see. The Chiefs so far still have Heimerdinger on the table if they want to go for it. Pentanet not interested in seeing Udyr, Viego, Seraphine. I mean, these are all pretty standard
It's not
bans.
standard.
Tristana maybe a bit of a curveball as far as the bans are concerned, but we did see Chaz playing it yesterday, so...
Tristana's seeing a little bit more playtime, both globally and here, because you can flex it, right? Historically, in the past, Tristana couldn't really be put AD carry because AD carries needed the solo lane, like Tristana rather, and Lucian, needed solo lane EXP and gold to then be relevant, right? They had a strong 1v1, but when you paired them in the 2v2, they weren't as strong. And so Tristana is kind of getting the treatment now where you can play her mid, is strong in the 1v1, and now you can get away with playing her in the bot lane as well. So the fact that she's that much more flexible means she's a little more dangerous in pick ban. So that's why Chiefs opted to ban that one.
Not a first pick rel today.
Yeah.
Another one for the Chiefs.
Alistar to deny the rel pick too, though.
Yep, not a bad bot lane already locked in for Pentanet. We saw BioPanther yesterday on the... Oh, sorry, I should say Praedyth on the Kai'Sa yesterday. Not too bad of a performance at all. And again, we're just going for the safe early picks. Nah in the top lane for the Chiefs.
Well,
So nothing really to touch on too crazy.
if I had to quickly try and digest this draft and guess the angle Chiefs are taking here, they've banned the Aphelios, banned the Tristana, and that was not the angle I was opting in for. So I'm not even going to bother digesting now because I thought maybe this would be another Heimerdinger angle just from banning Aphelios and giving them Kai'Sa. But, you know, they've opted in for the Jinx. We're seeing quite a bit of Jinx tonight, Elfish, and I don't know if that's something that, you know, that's been transpiring in Oceanic scrims because, you know, fun fact, one team tries something in scrims, performs very well, then the next team tries it against the other team, and then it has like a really big flow-on effect, right? And then all of a sudden, you're into a week of the LCO, and then every team's just locking in the same champion that we didn't see the week before. And I think Jinx might have had this treatment.
Yeah. And we're just sitting there going, what happened? All of a sudden, Jinx is getting picked. Although, I mean, we know there was the buffs coming through.
Yeah, 100% buffs, but it was, you know, it takes that one team with that bit of confidence to pull it out. And I think that team has found, you know, great success with it, and you know, all teams alike really, because it is something that's just being perma-picked. And it's not being picked with a lot of peel though, which is why we're seeing it kind of trip, stumble, and fall at the finish line.
In this instance, though, Rel and Nah, big front line for the Jinx to hide behind, so it's not a shabby start, I would say, for the Chiefs composition, and it is first time in a little while that we'll actually get to see Mboma on anything but Heimerdinger.
Yeah.
The only other AD carry that he actually played was Ezreal, and that was in day one. So a very, very big departure from the champions that he's played so far in LCO, and hoping to see him go pretty well today. Zoe off the table, Gangplank off the table, so Swaith, again, I should say, lived. Not interested in taking on that Nah versus Gangplank top lane that we've seen so much in the LCO.
But, you know, BioPanther going back to his roots by the looks of things, you know, the Ornn hover. Wouldn't be surprised if that one gets picked up just because, you know, BioPanther has formed his identity as a top laner, as that guy. That guy to do anything for the team, whether that's on Ornn, whether that's on Maokai, on Janna even, you know, we've seen him at times. And so, you know, it's just no surprise to see him locking that in. But if you look at Pentanet's composition already, it's not bad. You know, they have the Syndra for that early prio in the mid lane. There's not really a matchup that Chiefs can pick that's going to give you any problems. Yes, the Orianna was expected, but now Pentanet have the option with the counterpick jungle to have an extremely potent and strong 2v2, which should transition into some nice early game leads if they play the game extremely well. In that same sense though, you know, I've seen Kisei perform on this Orianna a bunch and win these kind of, you know, soft counter matchups. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this mid-jungle 2v2. Ooh, the Kayn.
Yeah, you've been asking for a little bit of Kayn so far today, and funnily enough, it'll be Swaith to pull it out. Now, he did play Kayn on day 2. That was a matchup that Chiefs, I felt like, got a fair bit of value out of the Kayn in, actually. So I am interested to see whether or not Swaith can back that up. But also what I'm quite keen to see is what will the counter pick be for Pabu, and it's a Skarner. The first Skarner that we're actually going to see in LCO, if I'm not incorrect, and that's one of those picks that could be quite problematic indeed. You know, Swaith wants to go deep into the back lines, cause problems for the AD carry, for the mid laner, but all of a sudden you're just pulled in by the Skarner, you can't go anywhere, and there is no escape.
I really like that pick from Pabu because a lot of the Kayn picks that we see nowadays is the Assassin Kayn, right? And then if you look at the composition of Pentanet, there's nothing to assassinate, right? Besides the Kai'Sa and the Syndra, obviously, but the front line of Skarner, Ornn, and the Alistar, it's going to have a tough time finding the angles to get onto the back line. And, you know, the Syndra having that really good laning phase into the Orianna early is going to bridge that gap where Pabu's ultimately at his weakest. And then we'll see that big level 6 Predator play coming out of him and able to influence a map. On the other side of that, though, if Swaith is ever able to get a lead and just all put that jungle on farm or on cooldown, he's going to come out of the laning phase extremely accelerated. So both compositions have things that they excel at, but I'm super excited to see which team executes, right? You have the Nah into the Ornn. It's going to do quite well in terms of that lane in isolation. Ornn isn't something that we're being picked too frequently, but more comfort than anything, right? And this game, when I look at the drafts, all I see is a lot of comfort.
Yeah, comfort across the board. And another question that I have is, which of these 80 carries is going to go down first? Praedyth or Mboma? There was a bit of banter slung in the interview, so I think a fair bit on the line there.
I mean, if Mboma's the one that goes down first, he can really hold his head up high, because he didn't really come out with choice or fighting words, did he?
Yeah, that's true.
Praedyth, on the other hand, definitely had a lot to say in terms of how this bot lane 2v2 matchup would go, so I really want to keep my eyes on that and see how it plays out. You know, in saying all of that, though, would be very surprised if we see a 2v2 kill, just because, you know, Rel and Alice, they can both deny each other. The Jinx Chompers, the traps, also deny Alistar from his headbutt pulverize combo.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but we saw some strange stuff happening last game, and already some strange stuff happening this game. Doesn't look like Pabu's going to be too affected. The boomerang will go flying past his face as well. So Chiefs just letting him know, but nothing really too untoward to start the game off.
I don't mind that. Why not? I guess is where I'm getting at. Why not? And Kayn is also that champion that you want to get those early passive stacks on. So if you can just even auto attack at level 1, it's a bonus. You take those. So you can see what they were trying to do there.
All right, Juice, as usual, we have another coach interview. Today we'll be with the Chiefs, and it's Kuden once again. Always good to have a chat with you, mate. And I'm sure you were listening into that interview. We heard Praedyth saying he outclasses you everywhere. Is there really anything to touch on there? You agree, disagree, or what's the go?
Yeah, the only reason they outclass us because these guys have been like playing OPL for like 10 years. They got like, they've just been stuck in OPL 10 years. They got experience, but I don't even know. Are they even hungry to win? Like, cause my team's hungry to win, man. These guys are just good because they've been stuck in OPL for 10 years. That's
okay, so a bit of an experience differential perhaps, but the hunger maybe for you guys. I guess then in that respect, is there any intimidation factor from that level of experience difference, or does the Chiefs come in here feeling reasonably confident?
Nah, I ain't even intimidated, man. I'll go through all the plays, like Biopanther. The last time, like, that guy won OPL 2018, and the only time he won OPL, he only built ruby crystals. So it's kind of smart they put him on Ornn this time. Pabu, that guy, the only good thing that guy's done, he's like 1v1 faker, nothing else. Chaz, he like went 0-100 in
That's probably enough.
Decoy, he's busy like doing other stuff, recreational stuff. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think about that team.
All right, well, we'll hope to see yourselves having a good game here, and then we'll have to see what Pentanet can throw at you as well. And I guess just touching on the draft here very quickly before we let you go, Pabu selecting the Skarner seemed like maybe a little bit of a counterpick to Kayn, or how do you see that matchup working out for the Chiefs?
I'm surprised to pick Skarner. That's like a scare. I think like that's like a tank, and he's too scared to like yesterday he was flaunting how he like 100 CS up Sybil. Now he's like playing Skarner. So I don't. What was the original question?
You don't reckon Skarner takes skill, Mike?
No.
I played a lot of Skarner when I played with you.
Yeah, but your pathing was different. You outsmarted Levi. I don't know about Pabu.
You're gonna build different, maybe.
Yeah, you can outsmart Levi. I was like Pabu. That's different. That's lane. Pabu's solo kid faker. You don't do that in jungle. Jungle's all about the brain, like yours.
I appreciate that, Mike. I appreciate that.
No worries.
All right, I think we might leave it there. Thanks very much, Kuden, for the interview. And well, Juves, turns out you can outsmart anyone. Listen, mate, you can smite me any day. I'm a little bit smitten, and we'll see what happens here between Chiefs and Pentanet. Seems certainly like there's no love lost. But Juice, tell me, what happened in the early game? Anything to touch on?
Nothing to touch on. Pabu did get his crab that he wanted, and we're seeing Swait already utilize this Kayn. And if there's one player in Osu who's made his name playing Kayn, it's definitely Swait. As you can see, just already in the Skarner's jungle, counter jungling, using the mobility of that Kayn, you know, gliding on through those walls and to get to camps that maybe he wouldn't have had access to on a traditional jungler. So one thing I wanted to touch on too is that the Kayn has opted in for the Dark Harvest. So, you know, for me, it says that he's opting in for the Assassin Cane, which is a double-edged sword, right? In the sense that Pabu has picked the Skarner. He has that ready. He has the R button ready. For when Swayth looks for that opportunity to assassinate Freydith or assassinate Chaz. And so it's almost going to be a game of cat and mouse, right? Who's ready, who's there, and who's got the flank, and is Pabu ready to stop Swayth from influencing that team fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a departure if I'm not incorrect. When Swayth played it last time, he went red cane. This time you'd expect he's going blue cane. I mean, it almost feels like you're playing a different champion at that point.
I've seen curveballs, right, where they still opt in for the red cane, the darken, but, you know, in this game, if you were going for red cane, you would assume the Conqueror would be far better, right? You know, you're going to be able to stack that one up on the likes of the Ornn, the Skarner, the Alistar. So, yeah, but early Dragons started here, and early Dragons today, Elfish, have turned into a bit of a disaster for the teams that have started it.
Yeah, flavor of the day, but Pabu's going to get away with that one as a bit of a freebie. Good rotation in from his mid and bot lanes. I think Chiefs were aware of it, but they just decided not to contest.
Oh, you just look at lane states, right? You know, Praedyth and Decoy were able to get this one underneath the Chief turret. It is slow pushing back to them now. Chaz was also able to push in Kisei, and this is just the nature of the Syndra versus Orianna matchup. Orianna probably does outscale in terms of team fights and just like, you know, the damage that can come out in a late game sense, but hold that thought. Pabu's here for the counter gank.
This is interesting. I don't think Swayth really even wants to gain. He's just trying to force the issue into the turret, but now all of Pentanet have arrived in the bot lane and Swayth is out of the picture early on in the piece. Dearie me. He only came down there to just push that lane into the turret, get the reset for the Chiefs, but it's worked out perfectly for Pentanet.
So it's the right idea from Swayth. You know, the bot lane definitely needed help pushing that wave in. And fundamentally, it's the correct play to make. I think they just overextended a little bit too much. They waited maybe that second too long, and that was the go button for Biopanther and for Pabu, right? And this is what we talk about when we talk about Biopanther. He's willing, absolutely willing, to lose 10-15 CS to get a kill on the other side and gain 10-15 CS. I mean, he's one of the only players in the league that is willing to consistently make that sacrifice. And that's why we talk about Biopanther being so good on these tanky champions. And now another thing I just want to point out, Elfish, is that Pabu is level 6. And if it is almost a little bit criminal if Pabu or a Skarner is able to get a kill pre-6. He's able to do that. And not only was he able to do that, he's burnt double sums on this Jinx. So I'm a little bit concerned for this bot lane of the Chiefs now, especially with the tools and utility available.
Yeah, you can already see how zoned they're getting just by Decoy standing in the bush. Obviously, knowing that Decoy has the Hex Flash, he could pop out at any time. And what if the Skarner is hanging around somewhere? Well, it would be a thought in the back of their mind.
They did see Pabu, right? They had a ward on that Krug. So this is more or less just letting the wave come in, right? There is no reason for them to step up because this wave is inevitably coming in under their turret. The right thing for them to do, though, would be to try and freeze this wave outside of their tower, give Swayth another angle or opportunity to look for a gank because Decoy isn't level 6 and he has no flash.
There is a ward there, though, that Swayth has just walked over. Now he is going to use his red trinket, but it might be a bit too late. Information is already there for Pentanet. Luckily, Dragku is hanging around, so Decoy won't get any funny ideas. Pentanet know that they have the teleport disadvantage, so they're being just a little bit more careful with this engagement, if it were to come. I doubt Lived wants to roam down right now. He's got a wave underneath his turret.
Swayth was looking for the cheeky smite still, right? You can still smite while gliding in the wall as Kayn. But Syndra, probably the best blue buff taker in the game, can just deny the smite of any jungler, yoinking that one away with the W. Nice turret play, goes over to Kisei.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kisei pushing that tower in is... At least you're getting something out of that small passage of play, right? It's forced a few of the creeps to die to the tower. You get the plate for Kisei. I'm not minding so far what I'm seeing from Chiefs. It's just that one small mistake in the bot lane, but everything else feels pretty good.
Oh, it's a stable game. It's a stable game, right? This kill isn't going to explode bot lane. It is a 15 CS lead and a kill, so there is a significant lead there. But, you know, Mboma and Dragku aren't going to be in danger of, you know, dying 2v2 or having their turret taken. it is more just of a nuisance and something to keep your eye on. Because Kai'Sa, with the current itemization that she does go, is quite snowbally as a champion. That's a very good pickup though from Swathe. I got to be happy getting the Rift Herald this early.
Yeah, there's a bit of an
Lived in trouble.
engagement up in the top lane by Panther. Does have Call of the Forged God. And I think that might be Call of the Dead Nah right now. But in the mid lane, a pick from Swathe and Kisei. So a little bit of excitement for Pentanet and a little bit for Chiefs as well. You talked about that last game. The good teams are the ones that can make that cross-map play happen. And wasn't all the way across the map, but you get a 1-for-1.
Yeah, and the saving grace there and the good thing was that Chaz's wave didn't actually crash. And so we just see him get caught here. He's coming up to the play. You know, he knew the Rift Herald just went down, so if you're being super critical, has to know that at least Kane is there, right? At least Swathe is waiting in the wing. And so maybe a little bit of disrespect, lack of situational awareness. But you know, again, nice little pickup from the Chiefs, and they needed that, right? Because, you know, it was going to be Pabu getting a kill in top lane, Pabu getting a kill in bot lane without having to use the Skarner ultimate. And starting this second dragon now, Biopanthers actually walked down for it.
Yeah, Pentanet really putting a lot of a premium on the dragons.
Yeah, and you have to. When you play this composition, and it's not even about comp, right, as well. And what drag are we going to get? Inferno. Okay, got to be happy with that if you're a Pentanet fan. A double game where Pentanet, 2 games rather, where Pentanet have had the Infernal Dragon spawn. So whatever they're doing to roll these dragons on Summoner's Rift, maybe they need to let some other teams know.
I'm sure if there's some secret strategy, they're not going to be too eager to share just based on what I've seen from them. Nice trade from Biopanther there, gets the knock up under the tower, and that's going to set Lived back.
Definitely. But you know, that's like, what, half a turret gone? So if Swathe decides to come drop that Rift Herald in top side of the map, that turret is gone. So he does have that option, especially at 12 minutes. And he's pinging, well, he's not pinging on the way, he's pathing up there. So might be a Rift Herald dropped in the top side of the map. Look, I don't think they have enough juice in the tank to kill this Ornn. But
they might give it a crack.
Yeah.
Swathe is going to dive on top of him. There is an exhaust going down. So that's going to make life a bit more difficult for him, but certainly seems they've got the damage here. Call of the Forged God is not going to get you out of there, Biopanther. And that's a kill for Swathe, exactly who you want it to go on, but down in the bot lane. Again, another cross-map play. It's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, both these teams really understand their win conditions, hey. You know, Chiefs probably, ideal world, aren't sacking the Jinx because that's 2 deaths now for Jinx. And you'd have to say, you know, would you rather the Jinx die or the Ornn? I know which one I'm taking every day of the week. It is first turret though that goes over and Nah gets that solo gold, so you got to be extremely happy with that. However, this is the difference between the top teams in the LCO and the teams that are, you know, fighting for the middle of the pack. They're making a play topside. Pentanet know it's their time and place to make a play on the opposite side of the map, and that's exactly what they did there. And it's just both teams executing on opposite sides, and it's still just such a close game.
Oh, Swathe got that red, did he?
Yep. Yeah, a little bit of a mismatch from Pabu.
And the Rift Herald also got a second charge in the top lane, so that inner tower is starting to get quite low. Also good news that Swathe picks up a couple of kills early on in the piece. It's one of the worst things, at least that I've seen, is when you've got a Kayn on your team and they're really trying to get going, but they just aren't able to. And particularly with this kind of a composition where Chiefs, I think, are going to need a bit of damage to come from the Kayn. To see him get the Dust Blade pretty early on in the piece could cause him to be quite a difficult player to deal with for the Pentanet roster.
Yeah, I mean, this Kayn is going to need to bridge the gap that Mboma won't be able to fill at, you know, in the early to mid-game phase. Yeah. Jinx, as is, you know, isn't the strongest AD carry in the early game, right? Takes, you know, 2 to 3 items to really come online. But, you know, when you start the game 0-2, down 20 to 30 CS, as well as, you know, a good few turret plates, you really need something to just, you know, pull up the slack that Mboma's missing. And fortunately for the Chiefs, that will be Swathe. And they do have a 1k gold lead.
Yeah, a little bit of a gold lead, even despite being down a couple of dragons. That's obviously largely in the top lane, with the Rift Herald getting the tower.
Yeah, being, you know, with the dragons in general, right, the Mountain one in particular, it is based all off percentages. So the earlier it is in the game, you know, the less of the resistances that you're getting off that. However, it still is something, so you got to factor that into the gold lead, which again isn't significant whatsoever. But looking for another play here in the bot side. Chaz has roamed down.
Yeah. They'll be aware that Pabu is there. Dragku just letting him know.
Swaith absolutely just eats the minion wave off his Jinx too, if you don't mind. Just comes in, full cleaves it.
I mean, at this point, he must be saying, okay, I've got to be the one to carry this game. He might even take this next wave too. I'm sure Mboma's not too happy with that.
No, I wouldn't be. I mean, all the 80 carries I've played with in the past, if I did that, we'd be having an argument mid-game. Might have to pause and have a remake. But obviously, Mboma showing his Titan mentality there. Paul, maybe next interview we get a couple of 80 carries on. Should ask them that question. Hey, jungler walks into your lane.
Takes 2 waves.
Takes 2 waves. How you feel?
Yeah. It's not just the CS either. It's the experience too, you know? Like, the bot lane is so experience starved. I can't tell you how infuriating it is sometimes when you're playing, like, you're playing a support, you go in there, you're level 7, and then you run up against the top laner or the mid laner, they're like full 4 or 5 levels ahead of you. You're just thinking, this isn't even fair. But you know he's going to get even further behind.
Well, you have to look at it as like, yeah, Mboma's behind, right? He's only a level behind. But however, Swaith is 2 levels up and he's the same level as solo laners. So, bit of give and take, right? All you're hoping for if you're Mboma is Swaith just has a really big impact in that next team fight. And
100%.
But they're happy to give away another dragon by the looks of things, and they're happy to just leave it at soul point.
And a bot tower as well. So they're taking the rift. Yes, that's good. The Chiefs are giving up 2 objectives in that meanwhile, and Decoy has also been able to get some very nice deep vision in bot side jungle. 2 control wards, a normal ward in there as well. So the red buff lit up like a Christmas tree for Pentanet.
Rift Herald does lose a little bit of value though the later in the game you go, right? In the sense that, yes, they might be able to use this Rift Herald for the next dragon now, or at least to generate some pressure and some priority before the dragon. But, you know, there's no longer any turret plates, so best case scenario, it gets a charge off and no plates, no turret, then it kind of feels like a little bit for nothing. So we'll have to wait and see what they do with that. Maybe they'll win a team fight, maybe they'll get a few picks, and then that'll transition into a couple of turrets.
Swaith putting in some pretty decent damage though.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, actually.
W onto the Alistar. Yeah. You'll be quite happy with that, especially considering Alistar is one of the tankier champions on the field for Pentanet. So if that goes on top of Praedyth or Chaz, might cause a bit of a ruckus. The one thing that always scares me though when you're playing an assassin like Kayn is that Praedyth on the Kai'Sa has the shield from the ultimate, and that just sometimes makes it a little bit too difficult to chunk through. Pabu's in there. He's managed to catch one with the Impale, and that is the end of Kisei. The fight erupts in earnest, and Decoy is the one that actually copped the Kayn ultimate. So that hasn't worked out at all for Chiefs. Fire Panther will continue the chase. Liv gets knocked airborne, and now just picked up another. It's too easy for Pentanet at the moment. The fight looks like it just kind of petered out into nothing for Chiefs after they lost Kisei.
Yeah, and it was almost like a little bit of what are you doing there for the Chiefs, right? Again, sometimes in a game, you just need to take a back seat and ask, what are we doing here, right? It almost feels like there was nothing for Chiefs to do in that situation. Kisei still has flash and all of his cooldowns, and ultimately just let Pabu walk at him. A little bit of a head-scratcher moment, and this Skarner pick is proving really high value in this game.
Love to see it, to be honest. I'm a fan of these different picks.
I'm a big fan of the Skarner. I think it's a little bit underrated in current meta. You know, you also force the tax of the Quicksilver Sash too, right? You have to consider that. It's not only like your champion has a kit, but it also has a bit of a gold sink. You know, you make them decide how early on do you want to buy it. Are you going to skip the mythic item? What are you going to do? When are you going to purchase that? And when are you going to fit that into your build path? So at the moment, there's none of them coming through. So Pabu on his next flash timer can just absolutely win the team fight for his team if he's able to secure the hook, or if you will, onto a priority target.
I mean, even if he's not using the hook to initiate the team fight, it's still causing a degree of presence. Like, if you're Swaith, you're not diving the back line knowing that Impale is still available, because as soon as you jump in, you're going to get impaled. So it's a bit of a precautionary measure as well for the Chiefs that they have to play around. Here's the Rift Herald in mid. which we talked about, perhaps not having a huge impact. I dare say this one won't. I don't even think that's getting the turret.
It won't break turret, no. And they don't even have the strength or the numbers to really push that turret down with the Rift Herald. So, again, nice chunk. It's definitely going down the next time they get a bit of priority or a minion wave, but ultimately not worth the soul point, is it?
No, definitely not, especially when it's Infernal Soul.
And, you know, also look at the CS discrepancy between Praedyth and Imboma. So, you know, Praedyth talk the talk and he is walking the walk. Obviously, you know, Imboma and Draco have definitely been left to fend for themselves. But if you're a Praedyth fan or Praedyth, you got to be happy that he's not eating his words in the current state of the game.
Things can change. Chiefs is a team that has been down in the past and has been able to come back from it.
And I can't reiterate enough how important this Skarner pick is to this composition of Pentanet.
Yeah.
Really just feels like a little bit of chunk damage coming down. The Skarner pick has just negated the impact of Swathe in these teamfight scenarios, as well as, you know, giving Kisei another thing to think about. So Imboma teleports to the mid-wave here, you know, about 30-40 seconds before the Dragon. Definitely prioritizing mid-wave priority in advance. So this is something like when you coach new teams, Elfish, the big key to setting up objectives is you get there early, you push them down mid-wave or the wave where you have no prio, and in this case, Kisei, who is a majority of the wave clear for Chiefs, is trying to fight Pabu off, whilst the Pentanet roster are getting mid-wave prio and early at the Dragon when it spawns. So maybe a little bit of inexperience there. He should have been there, you know, pressuring that mid-wave.
Well, I'll remember that next time I coach a new team. Probably better if I don't.
And
oh no, Swathe has been caught by the Skarner and he's going to survive inside the Umbral Trespass for as long as possible. Hang on, maybe he can get out of here. Maybe he can even buy time for his teammates to burn the Dragon down. Pabu is beelining it in that direction. Oh, Kisei, he got it. Chiefs are going to lose the fight, granted. But they did get the Dragon. Yeah. Kisei cops the W. A big snipe from Praedyth. I'm not sure it's worth it in the end, but to be honest, Chiefs, like, at least they got something from it.
I mean, they got the Infernal Dragon, which, you know, for all purposes gives you what, like, how much AD and AP? I think
it's more about denying it.
Denying, yeah. It's for sure about denying, but at 22 minutes, you're about to lose a Baron.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that point, you may as well give away the soul and just burger flip the Elder Dragon, right? In saying that, we'll see what happens, how this plays out.
Well, they're allowing Imboma to put a bit of damage there onto Biopanther. Lived also has Na available. Pops the ulti down, but now Imboma overcommits. Cops a headbutt pole. Praedyth is going to jump on top of him, eats him up, says thank you very much for the freebie. Backs up the trash talk, and Kisei and Swathe arrive too late to make much of a difference. Pabu may drop, so that's nice for Swathe, but Praedyth still has the ultimate available, and that's going to mark the end of Kisei as well. In the end, overall, not a good trade for the Chiefs.
No, it's a little bit too clean, isn't it? It's just, honestly, the bot gap is just a little bit too big, but hold that thought. Swathe was... it looks... Okay. It looks bad what Swathe did there, right? But in his mind, he's trading 1-for-1 there. And we'll just check out this replay first before I get back to that point. So Biopanther is just playing goalkeeper while the rest of the team just DPS Baron down. And this is what happens when you don't have an AD carry, Elfish, right? Like, Imboma just suffered so hard in the laning phase. And, you know, part of it isn't through any fault of his own. It's just been really well executed from Pentanet, as well as Chiefs being on the opposite side of the map. You know, nice little pickup kill here from Swathe. And then he tries to pick up another one because he's trying to deny as many Baron buffs as possible. That's why he flashes in at the end there near Raptor Pit. Isn't able to pick up another kill, but you know, in that situation, you just want to get as many Baron buffs off the enemy as you can. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get any more than that. But yeah, Pentanet are just looking like a really well-oiled machine at the moment. And, you know, they have that identity. Weak side top laner, strong side bot lane, get them the lead. Pabu doing the job for his team on this Skarner, and really nowhere to point a finger and say they're doing better than the other. It's just honestly a collective unit, a cohesive unit at the moment. And this Baron is just going to extend this gold lead so much further.
Yeah, and what's especially scary, oh, that's unfortunate for
Nice
Liv.
disengage.
Yeah, tried to get the ultimate to sort of catch one of the Pentanet players off. Can't do it this time. Pabu Hex flashes the wall. This will be an impale, but will it be onto Liv? Yes, they
Ooh.
decide they've got enough. But he gets out of there. QSS, you spoke about it a bit earlier, is the second item really picked up for Lift.
And
Saves him this time.
First thing you're taught in League of Legends school is a little bit of a tab check, right? You know, every time you come out of base, you got to press tab, take stock of the items, and evidently Pabu did not take stock of Liv's items, otherwise wouldn't have used the Impale onto the Gnar there, but Syndra Stun lands. This might be a death for Liv. Okay.
Oh, he'll be okay. Just tanky enough to survive through it.
But it's almost a kill, right? In the sense that you don't get the death timer, but you do the job.
You get what you want.
Yes, you get the top tower. Now you're able to rotate to mid lane if you want to and take that tower instead, opting in for the reset. You're probably sitting on a bunch of gold, and it's just going to be methodical. They'll wait out to this next Infernal Dragon. 1 minute to go. Usually 1 minute is the golden number, 1 minute to 1 minute 30, where you just go down there, set up objectives, set up your vision control, and start to manipulate your minion wave so that when that dragon spawns, you're ready to take that dragon down while Chiefs are answering minion waves. So, you know, top wave being one of them, really deep inside the Chiefs' heart, and now moving in as a unit to secure that vision.
Very, very difficult for Chiefs to contest this dragon. Not only do they have to get vision inside their own jungle, but once they've done that, then they also need to get the vision in river and make sure that they've pushed out the waves as well, which is just, there's too much going on for Chiefs.
Yeah, and
Pentanet have to only focus on one thing, and that's dragon, but Chiefs are focusing on 4 or 5 different things, and even then, if they get a fight, it's against an 8-2 AD carry. Praetor dives deep, he cops the Umbral Trespass, but really, what's it going to do? Swathe has no damage right now that can deal with the Kai'Sa that's that fed. Rel into the back lines, not going to make much of a difference, and Lived, he goes mega, but it's too little too late.
And a triple
Fight's
kill.
already over.
Might be a Penta here. Keep your eyes on Praetor.
Well, I'm keeping him, but Mboma is quite far away. No flash available for Praetor. He won't be able to get it.
And if Praetor said something nice to Mboma before the game, maybe Mboma turns around and gives the Penta kill, but with the treatment Praetor was giving Mboma after that one, I don't think he's giving him the Penta kill anytime soon.
You know, the thing about Pentas is, if you get given that final kill, then it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it?
In my opinion, it doesn't count.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. Never really gotten a Penta in my time, but if I got given the final kill in my Penta kill, you best believe I'm claiming that and putting that one on the resume.
I almost got a Penta kill once.
Oh, really?
As a support player, that's kind of a big deal. But center support, incredibly played.
Decoy just pops that Banshee's Veil. Yeah, and Praetor just hits the go button straight away. And look, that's actually a very good fight for Chiefs in the sense that they were able to land their CC and their wombo combo, but Mboma's just so weak. There's just absolutely no damage coming on through. The shockwave did absolutely nothing, or probably didn't even register because he died so fast. And Pentanet just too quick, too clean, and too far ahead.
We've been seeing that a lot in LCO so far, is that a team will get behind, they'll have a composition, and you can see the win condition for them, but they aren't able to execute it in the first 2 or 3 really important fights.
Pabu?
Hang on a second, because Pabu might be about to get picked. This could be a turning point for Chiefs. They need to win this fight, but Praetor is so uncontested over the wall, just putting in that much damage that Rel gets traded down regardless. Chaz flashes through, gets the stun, and Mboma is doing his best, but as you've said already, Tubes, there is just no damage for the Chiefs, and that might well be the Penta that we were waiting for. We didn't get it in the last fight, but we've got it now. Praetor gets the first Penta kill of the LCO.
I mean, Praetor gets the first Penta kill in the LCO. He also gets the first 17 kills of the LCO. I mean, does he need to have interviews like that more often to play the way that he's playing? It has been facilitated by the rest of his team. You know, you have to give credit where credit's due. Everyone on this team has set Praetor up for success, but again, one of the best AD carry performances we've seen thus far, and he really did put his money where his mouth is, and this is going to be a very clean, concise, and quick victory for Pentanet.
Well, if anything, that is going to fuel the fire for Friday. It's going to fuel the fire for next week. Praetor still doesn't die, as the Guardian Angel, as the Nexus explodes, and the Chiefs are done. Pentanet continue 4-0, another solid performance from them today, and they stay equal with Peace. But that might be one of the most dominant games we've seen in LCO so far, Juves.
Yeah, 100%, and you know, almost as dominant as the analysis that comes out of our friend MacMate, who I'm going to have to bring back in here.
Look, I was a little bit confused. Were we watching Pentanet or were we watching Skynet there? There was a lot of Hasta La Vista baby going on. See you later. The whole team looking like Terminators. They were untouchable, indestructible rather, and Praedyth as well with that Penta to claim victory. You couldn't ask for too much more if you were Pentanet.
It's the dream scenario as an AD carry, isn't it, right? You get that many kills, you're that far ahead, you have so many items, and you're playing Kai'Sa, which is a playmaking AD carry as it is.
Yeah.
You could just dive the backlines with impunity and pretty much blow everyone up. There was no one that was tanky enough. Remember, Lived had to buy a QSS as well, so he's set behind on his build as well, and it's just, I mean, what more could you really want? Praedyth, everything was set up on a silver platter for him, and I mean, you've got to play like that if you're going to throw out the trash talk in the interview. So respect for it. We'll see if Pentanet can continue it in the following weeks, but they're definitely throwing down the gauntlet at the moment.
And I do want to touch on just team composition in general here, right? This, for me, is the best composition possible that Pentanet can draft. Not necessarily in champions, specific champions, but in playstyles, right? The tank top lane, the facilitating utility-based jungler for Pabu, Chaz on that control mage mid, and then, you know, that kill lane or that hyper carry in the Kai'Sa or in the bot lane for Pentanet. So, you know, arguably against Legacy yesterday wasn't their best composition, wasn't what they're necessarily used to, but when you see the ease of execution of a composition that Pentanet are so comfortable with against the team who we've been touting as, you know, one of the top three, right? Like, you know, heading into today, we thought Chiefs maybe one of the top three teams, but it just didn't look close when you really when it comes down to it.
I thought if there was going to be one team that would beat Pentanet, it was either going to be Peace or Chiefs. Yeah, so we've already got Chiefs out of the picture, and well, that Pentanet versus Peace game is going to be a big one when we get there. I think that's next week.
Yeah, what I need to say about that one is it's going to be so damn interesting because, you know, Violet and Praedyth, they both can't play Kai'Sa, you know, so it's going to be so hard. I don't know if it's going to be banned out. I feel like it is a champ that definitely should be banned out in that matchup, just so they have to go different routes. And, you know, we saw a little bit of chicken there, and we saw yet another fresh team comp coming out from Pentanet, which just played so wonderfully to what Chiefs picked today.
Yeah, and they're just so diverse in their champion pools too, right? You know, we talk about this being their best composition, but they also showed, even when they're not on their best comp, and they just pick kind of, you know, whatever they feel like that day, that week, they're still able to pull out wins. And it is looking scary, because I thought, after yesterday's game, you know, they're looking human. They look like they can be beat. And I was super excited about this game because I thought, yeah, Chiefs do have all the tools to beat them. They've got the solid early game. They do have the solid mid game. You know, sure, they hiccup a little bit when it comes to the late game. But we didn't see them really have any success or any window of opportunity to stamp some authority in this game.
Well, look, it is time to bring Nat back from the sidelines. We banished her to the Shadow Realm earlier, but she's back here with one of the winners. I believe it's Biopanther you have there, deep in the jungle. Let's you want to take us into him and see what the feelings are like in the Pentanet camp.
Yes, I am joined by Biopanther. Congratulations on yet another win for you guys. How's it feeling to be going 4-0 in the series now?
I think it's kind of like just really showing all the practice that we're putting in as like a team, and we're very confident just because of like how diverse we are, and we have like a lot, like really a deep champ pools like in every role. So like we're just really trying to play around like everyone's niche strategies in like the LCO at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, hearing that you guys have like a deep champ pool, talk to me a little bit more about that draft with the Skarner pick, and then also how you guys felt about the Blue Cane pick for Swade.
I think it was just really greedy by him. Like he played like Blue Cane for no reason. Like I feel like there's no thought or reason behind it, and then he got rightfully punished. So it's just good, like that, like he has to show that like, oh, like we showed him that like he can't pick stuff like that at that moment. So I don't know.
And then the Skarner pick for you guys?
Oh, the Skarner was just really
from?
like just, it was from scrims, and like he was just super oppressive that game because most lanes can't play, and once he's 6, like they can't like they use like a huge investment in gold to like actually play the game properly, and it's just super scary for them. And like that's why we had like such a free way to get to the late game, and then like I just became like unkillable, and my damage carries killed everyone. So
that is true. I do also want to ask as my final question about the meta, and you know, if you think it's really playing to your advantage with, you know, the tanks on the top lane instead.
I think the meta is very diverse. I feel like in the top lane right now, like if you really want to blind, just play like tanks or Gnar. But if you really like, there's a lot of bruiser counter picks like what I played yesterday with Aurelia. It just really depends. Like I'd rather pick what's good for the game than just pick something that like I just one trick. Like I play what is good for the game and will get us the win, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems to be working out. You guys are just bagging those wins left, right, and center. Congratulations again, and good luck for your
Thank you
game
so
on
much.
Friday. I'll see you guys then.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Panther. Goodbye.
Bye,
Hey,
bye.
and hello everyone again.
Oh, hey. Oh, you guys want me back, I guess.
Yeah, but not for long. You know, see ya.
I'll see-
No. That's it for you for the day though, Nat. So you know you got a
It
day
is.
off before we come back on Friday. What are you gonna do with your day off? Just chill out, play some League, or?
Honestly, just work. Yeah, I still have my old 9 to 5 that I've got to
Yes.
unfortunately do.
Just quit. You're not bad at the interviews.
That was the perfect opportunity to just do a little subtle stream plug, you know?
Mm.
Streaming League of Legends every day.
I
hit
mean,
me
yeah,
up on
we're hitting that. we're hitting-
twitch.tv/NatT, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's twitch.tv/NatT, the E's with a
Oh.
3. Definitely going to be
Thanks for letting me
grinding
know.
out the League. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Work, don't know it.
Beautiful. So Nat T with the 3, go jump over there, and I'm sure she'll be live after this. You know, 24-hour stream. That's what she told me pre-show. She was going to do
Doing a
one
VOD review.
It's
I already
straight
put
through
in
work
the-
tomorrow.
I already put leave in with her boss. I said, look, she's not coming in tomorrow. She's got streams to do.
That's
That's it. And he was
Alright.
totally okay with it.
Yep.
We'll say bye,
And he had to
Nat,
be.
and we'll see you again on Friday.
Alrighty, see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that brings us to the end of day 2, and wow, what a damn day it was. Some, I wouldn't say some crazy upsets, but some just very close games, and some almost, I guess, some unexpected results, you know, with Legacy starting strong, and then obviously Peace brought it back. You guys all thought it was Order's day to lose, and they managed to get over the line as well. Very, very convincing win in that game, by the way.
But that was the upset, I think, for me, was the Order just convincingly beating Direwolves. You know, rookies, a little bit of fun, a little bit of banter here and there, like Maximize obviously, you know, talks the talk, and today they walk the walk, right? And they're a team that I've got my eye on now, and I'm super excited to watch play every week, because if they can maintain that standard, who knows what they can do.
And look, we've seen a couple of great plays today, but there was one in particular that I think we all loved, we all enjoyed, and that is going to be play of the day. It is Wei with his little dance around the Nexus to clutch it out for Mammoth and make sure that the game was actually finished before Gravitas found a window back in.
All I'm going to say is Mammoth could have made this way easier for themselves
Yeah.
than they did. No pun intended. The Mundo going down to the tower, probably not ideal, but the way that... I can't get away from it, can I? But how Wei dodged that death sentence was just beautiful. He absolutely predicted it. The portal gets it done and makes it look easy. You love to see those kinds of moments. We knew the game was over. We knew that Mammoth was going to win, but make it a bit exciting when you do it.
I don't want to be that guy, but Thresh flashing away and not choosing to die probably lost the game there. Because Wei was able to pick up Thresh's flash and then gain a little more distance around the Nexus and get a few more auto attacks off. So, fun fact, maybe if you chose to die there, game still goes a little bit longer.
Certainly could. And look, we had a whole damn good time on broadcast today, and I'm sure you guys at home had something for us. So we're going to bring From the Fans back for the end of the day and see what memes and great content you guys have been working on at home. Of course, it's all about the trash talk, all about the memes. And it looks like Marianne in Heroes finally's friendship is ended with Legacy, and now Peace is her best friend. So there you go.
Yep, I think that's a call out to Incursio as well. Katarina crossed out, so yeah, not a bad meme. I rate it. 8 out of 8.
Is that Incursio's fault that Cat got banned?
Yes, because
Yeah, well, I mean,
is
it is,
very
because
good
if
at
he
it.
wasn't in the game, Cat doesn't get banned.
Very true.
Yeah. Very fair.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Carry on.
moving on. Let's see what meme number 2 is, or if it's just a bit more trash talk. 10 banned weapons too brutal for war. I love it. What a great shot that is too. Look how handsome you look, mate. Absolute weapon.
4.1 million views as well, Jubes. You're not doing too bad.
I've been quite viewed in my time, put it that way. Quite a few eyeballs on me. I don't like to talk about my past, in particular this past, the 10 banned weapons one.
Yep. So you didn't get to go to that war.
No, well,
what war was that?
Devur.
Isn't that views? Anyway, let's move to the next one because Jubes obviously can't speak French. Was that French?
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, let's take a step in the dark. Mac, Jubes, and L Fish Guy, which is the Fish Guy, which is from Davo Erlo at LCO when one caster can't be memed. Yes, oh, surely. He was just weaponized.
How can I be memed?
You just
Actually,
got weaponized.
to be fair, I was getting abused on social media, but that's a different story. That's not necessarily a meme. That's just quite rude.
All right, well, there you go. So, Jubes unable to be memed, apparently, and Jordan, straight out of
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob?
You didn't know where that was
No,
from,
I was
did you?
trying to think of Bikini
That's
Bottom.
slack.
I was
That
Bikini,
is slack.
Bikini Bottom.
Are you even a 90s
was
kid,
on the,
man?
was on the
Yeah,
tip of
Are
my
you even a
tongue.
90s kid?
I didn't have cable TV when I was a child, Jordan. I was poor. I didn't have
Neither did I.
Nickelodeon or Cartoon
didn't have
Network or
Nickelodeon.
whatever it was.
Jubes didn't even have a TV, and he knows what SpongeBob is.
Nah.
Completely
Where I'm
ridiculous.
from, I didn't even have internet. It was
Anyway.
straight on goat back.
Well, I'm going to jump on that back and jump straight into the standings and where we're sitting at the end of the day. Fortunately, Jubes, you yourself are the GOAT. But could you go toe-to-toe with the likes of Peace and Pentanet, who is still undefeated at the top of the ladder?
Oh, and back in my heyday, I would have gone toe-to-toe with Mammoth and Legacy maybe, but not necessarily Peace and Pentanet. Probably what we expect to see right now in terms of the leaderboard. You know what? Maybe the surprise there is Order, right? Nevertheless, everything else, Order and Direwolves probably the two biggest surprises. However, I think the ladder is starting to shape up how we expected, and as the weeks go on, we're going to get a more and more accurate picture of who's going to be there come playoff time.
Yeah, I'm still interested to see if Direwolves can make a later resurgence back up the ladder and figure out all the things that have been going wrong for them. Of course, getting quite unfortunate and upset once or twice here or there in some very close games or even not close games like we had earlier today. Now, let's look at what Friday's matches are going to be because I'm expecting another big day. Ooh, I'm looking straight at Order and Pentanet, that second game. That one straight stands out to me straight away. You got Legacy Direwolves at 8. You got Peace and Mammoth right up the top there, which is obviously going to be the first game of the day. And then to round things off, Gravitas and Chiefs, which, if Gravitas play their A game, could be another close one.
Yeah, I don't mind the final game of the day there, to be honest. I know we're always going to talk about the Pentanet matches. We're always going to talk about the Peace matches because they're standing at the top of the table. But Gravitas and Chiefs, a little bit going on there. Chiefs having a rougher day today, and if Gravitas can bounce back after, what they suffered today as well, I could see that being an upsettable match. Also, a very important game for Direwolves to win against Legacy. I mean, if that 1-3 scoreline gets any worse for Direwolves, well, then we were quite far off the mark with our predictions of them coming into this season. And you can already see there's a three-way tie for 5th place. Legacy are also in that discussion. Obviously, they're at 0-4. But if they get the win over Direwolves, that's another team that's got 1 win on the board and then 4 losses. So there's a whole lot going on. And remember, there's 5 spots for playoffs. So a lot of teams fighting for that 5th spot right now.
Yeah, it's certainly something that is under contention. But look, that brings us to the end of the day. Not only have we crowned a new King of the Trash Talk in Pradith, but he's also King of the Kills as well. So big congratulations to him. Who's back on Friday? It's neither of you, is it? It's Skimmy and Rusty, right? So
unfortunately, you got the B team on Friday.
Yeah, B team.
The B team.
Yours being generous with B team, but actually Rusty's all right.
Rusty's all right. Okay.
Actually,
well, on
so
that
is
note,
Skimmy.
Skimmy. On that
Man, you're
note,
such a nice guy. You're just
it's
trying to be bantering.
the
and
end
then
of
it's
the
just,
day,
no.
Jordan. Let me speak.
Wait, do you want me to do the throw, Mac? Or
Be it with ya.
Let Jordan throw.
Yeah, no,
No, I don't want it.
Jordan throws in all his games. We're going to be throwing some league games after this. But to
Probably.
get there, we got to end the day. Jordan, shut up, Jubes. I love you. You're so beautiful, mate. But that's it. You know, day 2 done. Day 3 coming up on Friday. We'll see you then.
Arrived, taunt in hand, gun crab knocks up in the air, beats there, the double mock up, and that has gone awfully for Direwolves. Flare down now as well. It's just Shock and Cupcake trying to salvage it, and they'll get a
Not a terrible situation, but we've got devalue more. Rel goes in.
Re-engage, this time from Direwolves on the front foot, and that hasn't worked out so far. Onslaught of Shadows right on top of Vengeance, trying to get him out of the picture, but Puma heals him back on up, and all of a sudden you
I dare say it's the Rome's bot lane where he didn't pick up a kill. But you know, he's still trading and
Oh, that might be enough. Fate sealed indeed, and Amelg also chiming in. That is fantastic for Legacy. Wow, how they've turned that on its head once again.
hold that thought.
Oh, well, not quite just farming, and Curcio goes deep. Fate sealed, but who for? Oh no, in Curcio it's happened again, and now the turn on to Civil Peace. Now Shiftfrit will have his turn. The bot laners, they're so low. Look down, Thomas Shen dodges, Isaiah dodges, and everyone as well, but decided better of it, and it's more than enough. Where's that damage come from? Shiftfrit in the back lines with Jin. Curtain call indeed, and that I think is going to be Gravitas. Done and dusted it through from Syndrome Connection. We need a death sentence to hit here. Wait, he dodges it. He's dodged it with the portal, but I don't think he's got enough damage, does he? Yes, he does. Mammoth of 1. Be a turning point for Chiefs. They need to win this fight, but Praedit is so uncontested over the wall, just putting in that much damage that Rel gets traded down regardless. Chaz flashes through, gets the stun, and Boma is doing his best, but as you've said already, Tubes, there is just no damage for the Chiefs, and that might well be the Penta.